Taylor, just take us through the match today. How are you feeling at the end of it?
Yeah, I feel good. I felt like, I came out playing really, really well. Definitely the kind of like start to a match that I'm looking for. Just felt very calm, in control. I felt like I was playing aggressive at the right times. When I didn't have the chance, I was being really solid, not giving away any free points, and it's just really good level. And I think he raised his level a lot midway through the second, and especially in the third. I thought he played incredible in the third, and I kind of just had to stay with it and apply the scoreboard pressure. And it's super frustrating to me not to serve out the match, but at least with how upset I was that I didn't serve it out, I was able to rebound and get it done in a tiebreaker and play a good tiebreaker.
Congrats. I wanted to actually just ask about your next opponent, who's Wawrinka, who's obviously playing his farewell year here. He has some interesting stats where he has a much stronger record in best of 5 than best of 3. He's won more slams than like Masters events, which is very rare. He's got just higher winning percentage by almost 10% at best of 5. So I'm curious for you, as somebody who's played a lot of both formats, like what are sort of the talents you see in him, or I guess generally in players, that make someone much better at best of 5 than best of 3? Because you wouldn't expect there to be that much of a
the obvious thing is fitness, but then the other thing is just, I'd say, being a really good competitor. People that compete really well tend to win out over the longer matches, and it speaks to how great of a competitor he is. And then also I'd say the ability to make changes in your game in a 3 out of 5 set match. You have a lot more time to kind of figure things out and adjust than you would in a 2 out of 3.
A lot of guys and female players as well are showing off new service motions at the start of the new year. From my perspective, it seems like a lot of players are willing to make quite big changes to their service motions, but not necessarily to forehands or backhands. I'm curious if, I know you haven't really changed your service motion much over the years. But
should I?
Pardon?
Should I?
If you want to. But do you think, is there a reason why players tend to change their service motions more than their ground strokes?
Yeah, of course, because when it comes to the ground strokes, there's so many different shots you're going to be hitting. If I want to change my forehand, it's like I've got to change it and now learn to hit so many different variations of balls in a different way. When it comes to serve, you control it. It's just coming out of your hand, so it's very easy to serve a different way and instantly have feel like it's not a big difference to where it will. I could start doing like a pinpoint or whatever it's called, where you drag the foot up. I think I would still serve over 50% and still win over 70% first serves. It wouldn't make my serve drastically worse out of nowhere. It's just because you have that control of, you're not playing off of another ball. It's very easy to play around with it and not, I guess, just completely mess it up like you would a ground stroke.
What would you say is like the last big technical change you made to your game? Was that like when you were like 12 or something? Or?
To my serve, I know exactly what it was. When I was 16, I made the semis of Junior Wimbledon. I think that's kind of the first time I started thinking like maybe I could actually be a pro. And so one thing I wanted to change was my serve, because I platformed for my second serve, which was a kick, and I actually dragged I didn't even go up and serve. I just full dragged my back foot on my first serve, and it was tough for me to go over the higher parts of the net. So I had a good first serve in terms of going T on both sides, but I really struggled to go wide on both sides, and I also just thought it looked really stupid to platform for a second serve and for a kick serve and then have something different for a first serve. So I changed it, and I literally changed it in one day. I stopped doing it, started doing platform, never went back. So like I said, it's kind of easy to just change your serve sometimes.
Congratulations. Through to round 3, along with quite a few teammates. It's been an impressive run for Americans, and what's in the water, and who are you going to be celebrating with the most? Tell us a bit about the dynamics within the American team at the moment.
It's tough because I don't think there's gonna be much celebrating going on. We're all focused in on the tournament, and it's like we're all on different schedules. I feel like I've barely seen Tommy this week because he's playing on the day that and Francis. I feel like I've barely seen Tommy and Francis, but they're playing on the days that I'm not playing. So like the days that we're off, I feel like we come into the site real quick, practice, leave, and then I just haven't been catching them, but happy to see all the success the guys are having, especially some of the guys that are playing well, pulling off some upsets. I'm happy for Ethan. He's doesn't have to worry about the bill that he paid the other night, and maybe that gave him a little bit extra motivation too this week.
Hey Taylor, how is the knee factoring into your thought process and preparation these days?
I mean, for me, the knee, I'm probably getting a bit overconfident with how it feels because I'm on, obviously, anti-inflammatories and stuff, so it's obviously masking the pain. I would say my knee been feeling really good the last couple of days, but obviously if I get off, it's masking the pain, but I still know it's well improved from where it was at, because before, even on all the anti-inflammatories, it was still like just killing me. So it's a lot better. I'm really happy with where it's at right now, and it's given me a lot of hope that I can continue to do my rehab while still playing, and it can keep getting better. So it's been really, really promising, I'd say, just the last 2 weeks with how it's been feeling, because how it felt the first week, 2 weeks I was in Australia, I was thinking, I'm probably going to have to shut it down for a month or two.
Hi Taylor, just going back to your next match against Stan, I just wonder how you feel about that in terms of like the Stan story, and thinking back to the Monfils match that you played here last year, obviously different types of tennis player, but a similar kind of feel and vibe to what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it'll be a fun match. Obviously, looked up to Stan for a long time, and I know he's playing well. I practiced with him in Perth at United Cup, and I mean, it's his average time on court per match this year has to be something insane, because even United Cup he was just battling like long 3-setters every match, and it's so impressive, the level and the physicality he's still bringing.
Can you imagine playing tennis at 40?
No, not at all. I can barely imagine playing in like 4 years from now.
Last question.
Hi, Taylor. Congrats on the win. I'm asking all the American players this, and there's a lot happening back home in the U.S., and kind of has been for a lot of the last year, and I'm just kind of wondering how you're feeling about all of it.
I mean, I'm not sure what we're like specifically talking about, but there is a lot going on in the U.S., and I don't know, I feel like whatever I say here is gonna get put in a headline, and it's gonna get taken out of context. So I'd really rather not do something that's gonna cause a big distraction for me in the middle of the tournament.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Taylor.